because by the time you get in debt, you forget about these things. So how do you do it? How do you make sure that you invest first and pay bills last without having financial troubles? So what you do, Mama, Papa, is that you assign a percentage to every dollar coming to your pocket. When you get your money, what you're going to do, we have what we call budgeting. You're going to make sure that 20% goes into giving. Again, when you talk about giving, I'm not only talking about just giving in the church. Giving in the church is highly encouraged. We need to give the 10% to support the church. But this 20%, once we give the 10% to support the church, the remaining 10% goes to the family, goes to what? The community. They are part of our responsibility as well. So 20% you assign for giving. And the next 25% goes into investment. You should invest 25% of your money, and 55% goes into all expenses. All expenses should take 55% of your money. And if you are not able to get money to give, tithing, giving in the church, invest, then there's something wrong. And most likely in the expenses column. As we learned yesterday, it is easier to reduce expenses. So if you are not having extra money left over at the end of the month, please let's sit down. Let's look at your expenses. There are 4 categories in which all expenses fall. All expenses in our life is either number 1, emergency expenses, number 2, variable expenses, number 3, fixed expenses, and number 4, periodic expenses. We need to be able to get full control of these things. Now, let's look at the flow of money. Now, as we all know, the money comes from directly from our paycheck, or the job that we work. You know, once we get a paycheck, most of the time, direct deposit, it goes straight to the bank, our checking account, our savings account. Then what happens? We start to distribute them. All right? So some will go into mortgage or apartment. Some also goes into what? Into vehicle. Some goes into student loans, credit cards payments. Now, if you look at this, the mortgage, by the time I was putting this PowerPoint together, the interest rate, I used average interest rate of 3.7%. And if you do average mortgage for 30 years and use 3.7, less than 4%, and calculate it, by the time you finish paying the house, you would have overpaid the house over $270,000. In America, if you pay a house by 30 years, you end up paying the house 3 times. And the same thing, the car, the overpayment of the car alone, over $5,000. Student loan, if you put all these overpayments, when you put them together, we are about $460-something thousand. The money that we lose to interest rates. All that I'm saying is that, you see, this money that leaked from us that we lose, we are unconscious about them, and unfortunately, we don't take action. Now, how do wealthy people do it? First of all, the reason in which we are losing this money is that when the money goes into the bank, and before it gets distributed, that money will be sitting in the bank, and the bank will be using the money until you use it to pay the bills. But the wealthy people, what they do is that they replace the bank. What they do is they replace the bank by putting an investment account over there. When I understood this concept, my investment account became a source of my checking account. And even tithe, I use investment account to pay. And if you start to do that, your financial life will be transformed. Because the money that goes into the investment account keeps on compounding, keeps on doubling, you know. So by the time you send it to other payments, then you have earned interest. Let me break it down. You see, mortgage, those who have mortgage, you know that you have 15 days grace period. You agree with me? 15 days grace period, all right? Average person doesn't use it. You know, on the first day, they make the payment. But because I am using my investment account, I wait until the 14th, 13th before I make the payment. And the 10 days, I would have made money from that. Do you see how it works? Yeah, and that is what investment do for you. So we use liquid investment to do that. Now, yesterday we learned about the 2 forms of the creating wealth, the 2 ways to create wealth, investment or business. Then we said, in order to get a capital, to expand your business, to expand your investment, you will need some form of credit. You need some form of loans. In America, whatever we can pay with cash, we can pay with credit. And it is easier, faster to create wealth through credit than through saved up cash. Now, this morning, we are going to dig deeper about these things that we spoke a lot about. So we learned that your credit score, whatever credit score that you have, is either helping you to make money or losing money. So the goal is to make sure that our credit score is well positioned. And the fastest way to boost your credit score is the usage of credit cards. I know a lot of you have all misconceptions about credit cards, so I'm going to spend a few minutes to talk about some of the myths about credit cards that we have. You know, some of us say, oh, one credit card is enough. It's not enough. If you want to build your credit, the more the better. The more the better. The more credit cards you have, the better. Now think about it. If you want to know me and talking to me once a day versus talking to me multiple times a day, which one is better? Multiple times. In the same way, when you have multiple credit cards and you use them wisely, using them wisely means you use not more than 30% and you pay it all. That is how it boosts your credit. Now, of all the there are 3 different types of credit, but credit card is the fastest and the quickest way of building credit. That is why we challenge people to be more conscious about credit. Number 2, credit cards lead to debt. Debt. Is that true? No. Credit card is just a plastic card. Money is just a paper. They don't lead anybody. It is our desire, our passion, our character that leads us into debt. It's not the card itself. So the conception that credit card lead to debt is not true. And you have to get education. Number 3, credit card has a high interest rate. Is it true or false? You hear people saying, credit card has a high interest rate. It's true. It's true. Yes, Is it true? No, Mama, it's not true. It's not. Credit cards have 0% interest rate. Break it up. If you don't pay, good. Every credit card has 0% interest rate. Credit card, this is what credit card is. Credit card is get the money, use it, within 30 days, come and pay us back. Within 30 days, come and pay us back. This is the principle. This is the law governing credit cards. You are supposed to pay it within 30 days. And when you pay within the 30 days, do you pay interest, Mama? You don't pay any interest. If you use it according to the law, no interest rate. It's only for those, the interest rate is set aside for those who abuse the law. If you don't make the payment, that is why the interest rate applies. Do you get what I'm saying, please? But the issue is that you focus on the interest rate that they have set aside for people who refuse to pay all. I don't remember the last time that I paid interest on my credit cards. So I encourage you, do not be deceived by that percentage. All that you need to do is to position yourself that the amount that you are using this month, within the next 20, 30 days, you get the money and pay it back. That's it. And once you pay it back, there's no any fee, any interest that you have to pay. Is that clear, please? Good. I'm glad that you have gotten it. The next one, number 4, it is better to consolidate credit cards. No, we don't want to. When you consolidate credit cards, it affects your credit score. It affects your credit profile. What does credit consolidation mean? Credit consolidation means that most of the time, the way that you do it, because of some of us, because of the interest that we are paying, we think the interest is high, so we will get a loan. Most of the time, installment loan, one big loan, and pay off all those credit cards. This is what happens. Your credit cards control over 35% of your credit score. Installment loans, only 10%. Installment loans, only 10%. In other words, credit card has more power to help your credit score better than mortgage loan. So when you are committed paying credit cards, it boosts your credit score faster than when you are committed paying off the good. So once you get the loans, the bank loans, mortgage loans, student loans are what we call installment debt or installment credit, installment loans. those things worth only 10%. So once you take that loan and pay off the credit card, it means it's like just like going to Ghana, and because of the cost of plane ticket, you're rather going to use a ship. You're rather going to use a boat. It will take you forever. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you are to consider the amount of time, the food that you spend, all those things, if you put them together, it will be far more than the cost of the ticket. Are you with me, please? So, in essence, consolidating the credit card will destroy your credit score. Then, the time comes for you to repair the credit. It costs money as well. Then, another thing, credit, as we learned yesterday, one of the factors that help the credit score is the length of credit that you have had. The older your credit cards, the more points you get. So once you take a loan to close that account, you are going to lose the point that you would have gotten. So you don't want to consolidate credit cards just because of that little interest. That little interest doesn't worth it. There's so much you can do with good credit when you take the time to build it then last not the least. This is the secret of debt consolidation. This is what they do. They allow you to miss payment. Then they go and settle the account with the collection agency by paying less. So if the debt is $5,000, they will just pay about $3,000 and come to you and sell it to you for $4,000. You will see that you are paying $4,000 instead of $5,000, but they actually bought it for $2,000 or $3,000, so they are making money. But that settlement, you can do it your own. You can do the settlement on your own. In other words, you don't have to let somebody to negotiate on your behalf when you can do it yourself. Amen. Now, the next one that you need to be. I think I may have to just go with the flow without the PowerPoint. Okay. Sure. So let's move to the. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Let me talk about the last one. Very, very important. It's okay. Don't go back. Missing payment. Some of us have misconception that when you miss a payment, it destroys your credit score. Not true. When you miss a payment for 30 days, more than 30 days, that is where it will destroy your credit score. All the codes that appear on the report to affect our credit score, it starts from 31 years going. 31 days, I'm sorry. So once you are late for 2 days, 10 days, 25 days, all that the bank will do is to charge you late fee, but does not affect your credit. Unless you are 31 days late, then it will be reported to the credit bureaus. So the credit missing your due date or missing payment affect your credit score when you have decided to intentionally refuse to make the payment. Sometimes, I forgot myself, and they reported it to the credit bureaus. 31 days, you forgot? Let's be honest. 3 days, 2 days, 5 days, it's normal, but not 31 days. 31 days is intentional. Do you know what I'm saying, please? Now, this is not to say that be late on your payment, not at all. You don't want to be late because you want to make sure that you have a good relationship with your bank as well. But please learn this today. Banks also have credit profile that they keep about you. Your credit gets increased, not only the credit scores as well, but the relationship that you have with the bank, the history that they have with you. So if you are consistently late, it will destroy your relationship as well. So you want to be mindful as well. I'm not saying that you should be late. What I'm trying to say is that when you are 20 days late, 10 days late, rush to make the payment. Don't be discouraged that, I'm already late, so let me give up. Exactly, please. Now, praise the Lord. Now, this is one of my passion. If you paid particular attention yesterday, I spoke about the fact that you don't sell assets. You always have to leverage the assets to create wealth. This is the secret of the wealthy people. You may have heard, use debt to create wealth. Use debt to create wealth. Use borrowed money to create wealth. Now think about when you go to 2 Kings chapter 4 verse 1, when the widow cried to Elisha, Elisha gave the woman the principle, go and borrow. When you borrow, go take the oil and sell the oil to the community, make the money, and come back and pay the debt. Are you all with me, please? So we use debt to create wealth. This is the key. There are 3 types of debt that you want to be mindful of. And if you don't get this, you will always be misled. We have what we call bad debt. Bad debt are those debt that takes money from you, that takes money from your pocket, that takes money from your account. They don't add any returns to it. Examples are car loans. Then we have good debt. Good debt are debt that bring you money based on the economy, that brings you money based on time. Examples of good debt is margin loans. And yesterday I showed you how I use the margin loans to double my stocks investment. Then the third one is great loans. Great loans are loans that bring you money regardless time, regardless economy. So when you talk about using debt to create wealth, you want to use the last 2 debts, good debt and great debt. We get great debt from portfolios that we have. Have you seen that the loans that we take from our 401k, the interest rates are so low? That's what we are talking about. And that is what we take. And when you take these loans, you are supposed to use it for investment. Let me say this, because that is the cause of our poverty, of struggling. Unfortunately, some of us, anytime you get money, regardless, either loans or paycheck, all goes into consumption. Mama, loans are supposed to be invested. Loans are supposed to bring you returns. The essence of loans is meant for business. It's meant for investment. And every investment comes with returns. And these great loans, most of the time, if you are smart with it and you invest them rightly, you are going to be making so much than the interest that you'll be paying on that loans that you have taken. So leverage loan is one of the examples of the great credit or great loan. Let me put great loans. Now think about it. You see how your 401k money, you continue to earn interest, the asset continues to appreciate value. The appreciation of the asset worth more than the interest that you pay. The appreciation of the asset worth far more than the interest that you pay. That is when we say great loans bring you money into your pocket. The money that you get from other investments. So when you talk about using debt to create wealth, we are talking about great debt and good debt as well. Now, how do we overcome the debt or make sure that we have eliminate the debt in our life? There are 4 strategies that has been very effective, 3 of them. We have the avalanche strategy method and snowball. So avalanche and snowball, basically the way that it works is look at all your debt that you have, the one with the highest amount, then you pay that one first. The highest debt is what you pay first. Then you also arrange it by the interest rate or the smaller one. Once you pay the smaller one, then you move to the next one. Then you move to the next one. So avalanche and the snowball, avalanche the highest that is costing you. This debt is costing me so much interest rate. The interest rate is so high, so you pay that one first. Good. The snowball, you look at, the smallest. This is the smallest loans, this is the smallest debt, so let me get rid of it. Then you pay that one first, little by little. Now, this is what the wealthy people do. The wealthy people don't use any of these. They use what we call infinite banking. Infinite banking. Debt consolidation, that is putting all those and get a one loan and pay it off. Infinite banking is what I'm going to focus on. Infinite banking, how does that work? You see, think about the 401k that I spoke about. It's not only 401k. You can use stocks. You can use life insurance. Basically, you use liquid form of investment. Liquid investments are those investment accounts or liquid assets are those assets that it takes days to get the money. That whenever you need the money, 2-3 days, you get the money right away. We use these loans to pay off the debt. Let me break it down. Let me use my life insurance as a case in point. You all saw the interest rate that the insurance company gave me when I shared the letter. Do you guys remember? 2.7%. Good. All right, wonderful. Now let's ask yourself, is it possible to get